that she entered into will hopefully allow for the judge to pass judgment on her in a way that is measurable. It will certainly never account for the lives that she was responsible for taking, but I think that the amount of time that she'll serve will be determined by Judge Ascarati, and I'm sure it will be appropriate.
So she hasn't agreed to your recommendation?
Correct. The judge is free to.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Chicago. I'm Gabriela Primus.
I'm Brian Jackson. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following this morning. Chicago City Council is expected to vote today on a proposed teen curfew ordinance.
On Capitol Hill, the House is set to move forward on a new funding bill, but it's expected to be a tight vote.
And taking a live look outside this morning, we had some slightly warmer temperatures yesterday. We'll see what's on tap today as we check in with Mike. How are things looking on this Tuesday so far?
Well, you know, over the city and points north, it's kind of a snoozeville, but you get a little bit farther south, there's a decent little snow event happening early this morning, especially south of I-80. This is all snow here coming out of LaSalle County, Grundy County, now into Kankakee, Newton, and Jasper County. And within this about 10 to 15 mile wide zone, there can be a few inches of accumulation leading to some possible travel delays on 80, 55, 57, and even on the south portions there of 65. The rest of the day and for the rest of the area, pretty quiet today. In fact, I think we could be close to 30 this afternoon. 9 a.m. 20, mix of clouds and sun at noon, maybe a flurry around with a temperature of 27 degrees at 4 o'clock. More on next week's warm-up in just a few. Back to you.
Well, today, Chicago City Council is expected to vote on a teen curfew. Under the proposal from Alderman Brian Hopkins, Chicago police will be able to issue a time and place order which bans minors from gathering in public spaces, but only if police give 12 hours notice. This is designed to address recent teen violence. Communities United, which works with teenagers and teaches them job skills after high school, they believe that this proposed ordinance discriminates against young people and doesn't address the root cause of many problems and trauma in their lives.
You invest in their mental health and their development, and they can actually be a part of their community, and they want to be a part of that decision-making process. They are proposing actual solutions.
Mayor Brandon Johnson has already said he is against this.
Authorities in Kankakee County are investigating the death of a bar owner. 30-year-old Courtney Drysdale was found dead at the bar yesterday afternoon. She's the owner of the Line Bar in Moments. Detectives have classified the case as a homicide. No other information has been released.
Opening statements are expected today in the trial over a wrongful raid in Chicago. Former Mayor Rahm Emanuel is expected to give a virtual testimony. The raid happened back in 2018 when Emanuel was still the mayor. According to court documents, Chicago police swarmed the wrong apartment in the back of the Yards neighborhood, pointing assault rifles at children and forcing their grandmother to stand outside without pants on. The family is now suing the city of Chicago and the police officers involved.
The partial government shutdown is now on its fourth day, but a House vote is expected later on today. Lawmakers are still at odds on reforms to immigration enforcement. Last Friday, the Senate passed a 2-week funding bill for Homeland Security, but negotiations have stalled since. House Speaker Mike Johnson is confident a deal will be done today.
I think we need to be playing games with government funding. We still have winter storms. We got FEMA and TSA and troop pay and everything else wrapped into this.
ICE and the Department of Homeland Security need to dramatically change. And absent that, then a full-year appropriations bill is in deep trouble.
Democrats are pushing for immigration enforcement reforms like banning face coverings.
A medical examiner in Minnesota has ruled Alex Preddy's death a homicide. Last month, Preddy was recording the ICE and Border Patrol presence in Minneapolis and attempting to assist a woman when federal agents shot him multiple times, killing him. The medical examiner also ruled the January 7th death of Renee Good a homicide. She was also shot by an ICE officer. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says that all Homeland Security officers will be issued body cameras. She said that the body camera program is being expanded nationwide as more funding becomes available. In 2022, President Joe Biden issued an executive order that federal officers wear body cameras. But President Trump rescinded that directive after starting his second term in office.
The suburb of Downers Grove will be voting whether ICE can use village property to stage immigration operations. The city council meeting begins at 7 tonight. In the proposed ordinance, police would respond to calls when there's concern about civil rights violations. Several other communities in nearby counties have also similar measures in place.
A tight-knit BMX community in Northwest Indiana is grieving after the loss of a young rider. The organization Steel Wheels BMX says that 13-year-old Oliver Ball Reed died from critical injuries at the track this past Saturday. Oliver had been racing there for years, often alongside his younger brother, and was well known within the BMX community. No additional details about the incident have been released as that investigation continues.
After the death of Mayor Christopher Clark, the village of Harvey is still working to appoint an acting mayor. The council voted on a mayor twice last night, only to come up with a split vote both times. It was decided that Alderwoman Shirley Drewensky would continue as pro temp mayor until the next vote. Alderman Drewensky says she is committed to serving her community regardless of the outcome. Other members of the council talked about last night's decision.
I think it's coming, and I think everybody, you have to get past some of the issues. Like I said, most of the council members, they're not thinking straight because they're still reeling in death, of our beloved mayor. So, right, with that being said, I think that when we come around to vote again, by that time, we'll have a lot of time to dig our heels into the dirt in order to get a firm grasp on what we actually want to do as a council and as a city moving forward.
The council will vote again at the next council meeting. Whoever is elected as the mayor will serve until April 2027.
Time is now 4:36 this morning. Blackhawks looking to snap their losing streak.
Mike, you have a look at sports for us.
And they did. They did definitively. Yeah, the Hawks hosted Macklin Celebrini and the San Jose Sharks last night and got a big boost from their offense. Connor Bedard gets the scoring started in the first. He finds the back of the net for his 23rd goal of the season. In the second period, it was Ryan Donato who connects with the wrister, giving the Hawks a 3-0 lead. The Hawks would add 3 more goals and win big, 6-3. Hey, how about this? The Illini, they're now number 5 in the overall poll from the AP. They are on an 11-game winning streak coming off road wins over Nebraska and Purdue. Next up, they've got Northwestern tomorrow night. Then they've got a big showdown Saturday night on the road against a very tough Sparty team, Michigan State.
Find a former teammate, that's easy. Boom. Look, we good right here. These my 2 former teammates.
All right, the Bears Pro Bowlers are having a little bit of fun at the Pro Bowl games this week. The team posted this video to social media, sending their players on a scavenger hunt. In total, 4 players represent the Bears: safety Kevin Byard, center Drew Dahlman, left guard Joe Thuney, and cornerback Nashawn Wright. The NFL is heading to the City of Light. Yes, the league announced that the New Orleans Saints will play a regular season game in Paris. That's fitting since there's a French Quarter in New Orleans. This is part of the NFL's continued effort to globalize the sport. No date has been announced yet, and their opponent will not be confirmed until this spring. Très bon. All right, let's talk about our weather, which isn't that great yet, but it's going in, I think, the right direction, especially next week. Looking at that picture, hey, just some partly cloudy skies over the city and quite a temperature difference, too, from north to south, where skies have been clear all night long. Woodstock, 11. 15 at Waukegan. Where we've got cloud cover a little bit thicker, it's 23 at Joliet and 22 in Kankakee. And it's not just cloud cover there. You've actually got snow, and a pretty good snow. And by good, I mean robust, happening as we speak. We'll look at the radar in a little bit. Visibility gives you an idea of where the snow is falling. We've got 2 miles visibility at LaSalle, Peru, 2.5 at Kankakee. At the Coal City Airport there, the visibility just came up a little bit, so your snow is letting up. But there you see, in the green is where the snow is a little bit heavier, and it's almost now exclusively south of Interstate 80. But snow pretty good here, right over I-57 between Manteno and Kankakee, here across southern Grundy County and east central LaSalle County. That's also some respectable snow. So here's what you've got today. Partly to mostly cloudy skies overall. Some morning snow where I just showed you. That's not going to come any farther north. Could be a flurry in the air. 30 degrees for the high. That's going to feel pretty good. Tonight, there's some snow coming down. This will be light lake effect, which will point into the city and point south. less than an inch, mostly just a coating. Low temperature 14 degrees. Tomorrow's high 28. Then we hit freezing on Thursday with maybe a snow shower around. That will continue Thursday night into Friday morning. Friday morning 34. A little bit colder over the weekend, perhaps some light snow Sunday. 34 Monday. That is the appetizer platter of the big warm-up that starts on Tuesday. Back to you both.
Coming up, the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie is still missing this morning.
Crazy story. What authorities in Arizona are now saying about her disappearance when we come back.
Fox 32 News is brought to you.
Now, Good Day Chicago. Today, Chicago City Council will vote on a teen curfew. Under the proposal from Alderman Brian Hopkins, Chicago police would be able to issue a time and place order, which bans minors from gathering in public spaces, but only if police give 12 hours notice. Mayor Brandon Johnson says he is against it.
Authorities in Kankakee County are investigating the death of a bar owner. 30-year-old Courtney Drysdale was found dead at the bar yesterday afternoon. She is the owner of the Line Bar in Moments. Detectives have now classified the case as a homicide.
Opening statements are expected today in a trial over a wrongful raid in Chicago. Former Mayor Rahm Emanuel is expected to give a virtual testimony. The raid happened in 2018 when Emanuel was mayor.
A group of college Republicans is facing backlash on the campus of the University of Illinois. They posted something on social media over the weekend that appeared to celebrate the killing of Minneapolis protester Alex Preddy. Now, the U of I chapter of the College of Republicans has been put under Title VI investigation, according to a statement from the university. The post featured a cartoon of the shooting death of Preddy, with an agent pointing a gun at Preddy's head while he's on the ground, with the caption, "Only traitors help invaders." We reached out to a representative of the group. They say, quote, "The image was AI generated and used symbolic political imagery to convey support for law enforcement and national sovereignty. It was not intended to depict a real event, a real individual, or to endorse harm or violence toward anyone." In a statement response, a college spokesperson said hate and intolerance are not aligned with our university values. We condemn rhetoric or imagery that appears to glorify violence or demean individuals or groups based on identity or beliefs.
A Chicago woman shot by immigration agents will be speaking about her case in Washington today at a congressional forum. Marimar Martinez was accused of ramming her car into a Border Patrol vehicle in October. She was shot by federal agents multiple times. Charges against Martinez were later dropped. A Chicago-based lawyer representing the family of Renee Good will also testify at that same forum today. Antonio Romanucci is leading the civil investigation into her killing. Two of Good's brothers are also set to testify.
Former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in a House investigation into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Republican lawmakers were advancing criminal contempt of Congress charges against both Clintons for defying a congressional subpoena. That is when attorneys for the Clintons emailed staff saying that the pair will appear for depositions. The couple resisted the subpoenas for months as the oversight panel opened an investigation into Epstein and his associates.
Arizona authorities are investigating the disappearance of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie's mom as a crime. Investigators say they found some concerning things at Nancy Guthrie's home near Tucson on Sunday. They also believe she did not leave the house on her own and may have been abducted.
This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, has some physical challenges, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal.
In a statement, Savannah Guthrie says, in part, on behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom.
Yes, we certainly hope everything works out for that family for sure. All right, time's now 4:46. Turning back to Mike with a look at our forecast. You said some folks already have some snow this morning.
Yes, well south of the city, but in some cases, a few inches of snow have come down. Have you guys noticed it's staying lighter longer?
It is.
Yes.
After 5 o'clock. Yes, that is a sign of things to come. And it's also getting brighter a little bit earlier in the morning, too. Kids going to the bus stop today, we'll see a little bit of sunshine, except in those areas well south of the city that I'll show you here in a little bit getting snow. Winter coat still in order, despite the fact I think we can hit 30 this afternoon, especially across the city, which is a little bump from where we've been. Yesterday's high was 27. I think we'll beat that by a couple of degrees with a mixture of clouds and sun. So all things considered, compared with last week and the week before, it's not too cold. Snow beginning to shrink in size and also diminish in intensity. Notice the amount of green, which is what I'm using to show you the heavier snow. That has definitely diminished in the past hour or so. Still some decent snow coming down, though, eastern LaSalle County into Grundy County. This is headed toward Kankakee, so parts of 55, 57, and 80 likely snow covered, and even 65 there in the parts of northwest Indiana. But farther north, nothing going on. We'll see some sunshine mixing with clouds. Let's go for 30 today. Could be a flurry from time to time, no big deal. Tonight, I'm going to be watching light, he says, light lake effect snow, which will be pointed toward the city and point south. I can't really envision anybody getting an inch out of this. I think mostly a coating would be it. That would end early tomorrow morning. 28 for the high tomorrow. Maybe a little bit of snow coming in Thursday night and Friday. That's not a big deal. 32 on Thursday, 34 on Friday. We'll back temperatures off a little bit over the weekend, perhaps with a snow shower on Sunday. And then Monday, we hit 34 degrees. That is just the amuse-bouche for you folks that love a culinary reference to the main course of warmth coming next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mike. All right, more than $1 billion is expected to be bet on the Super Bowl.
What experts are saying about betting within your limits ahead of the big game.
That's a good idea. Too bad.
We all know how important.
Neighbors on the city's far northwest side are pushing back on redevelopment plans for the Old Mars Candy Factory. The project calls for 500 residential units, a mix of senior living, townhomes, and apartments. The former Mars Wrigley plant in Galewood was shuttered back in 2024 after 95 years. McCaffrey Interest was chosen as the developer for the 20-acre site. They held 3 input meetings back in December announcing this housing proposal, but some residents say that they don't feel that their concerns are being heard.
They look at return on investment. They're in the business to make money. What we look for is a return on community investment.
We need a library. We need a youth center. The mayor talk about get them off the street. This would be a great location for apprenticeship program, sports program. My main concern is let's take care of the kids.
Neighbors are planning to hold a meeting of their own tomorrow. We have reached out to McCaffrey Interest and Mars Wrigley for statements. So far, we have not heard back.
1,000 people in Illinois just got Ring cameras for free. They're all domestic violence survivors. Attorney General Kwame Raoul partnered with Amazon and the Illinois Coalition Against Domestic Violence to make it happen. The cameras record when someone shows up who shouldn't be there, evidence that can prove a protection order was broken. Raoul says it's needed because domestic violence murders in Illinois jumped 140% in the last few years. Amazon tested this in Houston, in 2021 and quickly saw why it mattered.
We launched a pilot program with free devices and subscriptions, and just 2 weeks later learned that a survivor was quickly able to activate her safety plan, where she received a motion alert that alerted her that her abuser was approaching her home with a weapon.
Amazon has donated over 35,000 devices to domestic violence groups across the country.
Super Bowl week is in full swing in Santa Clara, California.
The Seahawks and Patriots met with the media for opening night with more than 6,000 credentialed media members on hand to cover Sunday's game. You can imagine some of the questions the players got asked, and they don't just focus on the game. They range from, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be, to topics about favorite cheeseburger joints and even what their wrestling name would be. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel, thank you, was asked last night about the team's uniform decision.
Your team leaders, I am told, chose to wear the white away jerseys. Tell me about that mentality.
Well, I've always heard that white was slimming, so we went with the white ones. We have some guys that felt like the white was a little bit more slimming. But we, again, we have a great leadership council. Obviously, the captains that you just saw, and then the 7 other players that we feel like help us make decisions and that can reach the locker room. I go to them for a lot of things, and they said, let's roll with the whites.
Okay, that makes sense.
I feel like thinking back, I can picture like Tom Brady wearing the white Patriots jersey a lot in the Super Bowl.
I would have to agree. And with the Super Bowl, obviously, also comes big increase in the betting market.
Billions of dollars are expected to be wagered in this year's game. Credit counselor Michael McClough joined us on Chicago Live with some tips on avoiding betting traps and how to recover if your losses spiral out of control.
You have to realize, or please realize, that gambling and sports betting should be entertainment. And we're talking to people and they're chasing their losses and they're saying it to us and to themselves, no, I was just on a cold streak, I'm going to be on a hot streak, and just use it as entertainment money. You want to drop $50, that's fine. But we talk to people that are dropping a whole lot more than that. We have people coming to us saying that like they're fighting with their spouse because they've got $20,000 in credit card debt now that is at 30% interest for sports gambling. We got other people coming to us saying my spouse doesn't know what I've done and I need help.
That sounds like a disaster. Well, he went on to say that younger people have been lured in by sports betting, especially because you can just do it right from your phone. He also pointed to research showing 96% of sports gamblers end up losing money over a 5-year period.
It really is a slippery slope. And
It
yeah,
is.
it's almost like pretend money sometimes when it's on your phone, right?
That's right.
Instant.
Right. Yeah, that didn't come out of my pocket. That was just here.
Exactly.
Internet money.
Yes.
Interesting. I've actually been texting this morning with a former coworker of ours who now lives, she's from Boston, Erin, and we've been talking about the spread. And I said I would go with Seattle and lay the points. And, of course, that upset her.
Yeah, about to say she's not going to be happy.
I'm going to text her and say that I'm on her side.
There you go. All right, she needs some support.
Miss her. Yeah,
she needs some
she's
support.
doing well. Yeah.
All right, we have some snow, not falling in the city, but well south. This has been a fairly robust, if narrow, plume of snow that started late last night around the Quad Cities, and you can see it moving through parts of LaSalle, Grundy, Kankakee County, now into Newton and Jasper County. No question, the heaviest snow is falling right here across southern Grundy and maybe western Kankakee County. I do want to direct your attention, though, to a couple more light snow showers here moving into Lee County. This may pass south of DeKalb here. This is I-88. Possibly you get a flurry around Joliet. That's not the main event. This is where the snow could accumulate another inch or so here this morning. So watch out for some slippery roads today. Other than that, there could be a flurry at some point today. We'll hit 30 degrees. That's not bad. And there will be partly to mostly cloudy skies, which implies there will be some sunshine. Won't be all that windy. Tonight, we'll drop down into the mid-teens, maybe a little colder far north. And there's a chance, I think a good chance, for some light lake effect snow that would be pointed toward the city and point southeast. In fact, here, I'll kind of draw where I think that lake effect snow is going to be later tonight. I'm expecting that to be kind of one of these deals. So you'd get it in northwest Indiana and maybe in the city, but this is going to be less than 1 inch of snow coming down. The big story is, even though it's not on the 7-day forecast, yeah, there are a couple of days here that we briefly get above freezing. After that, day 8 and beyond, we've got a big thaw on the way with 40s and probably even some 50s coming into the picture, but we have to navigate some seasonally chilly air and a couple of light snow events over the next few days. 4:57, we'll be right back after this.
Save big on everything for your